I literally did my makeup like a crying clown today because I am in mourning of what I just saw. Hey, it's Ellie. Welcome back to my channel. And today we're talking about the second Percy Jackson movie. I promised I'd do it, and I did it last night. I watched the movie, and oh wow. Wow, when all my friends said, yeah, the second one is so much worse, it's so much worse, I didn't understand what they were talking about. And then it hit. It was a train wreck. An absolute fucking train wreck. Which is so frustrating because the production value got so much better. It got so much fucking better, and it was still a train wreck. So we're gonna dive into it today. So same deal as last time. I'm gonna go through each third of the movie and talk about how it relates to the book and how it stacks up as an actual movie. Remember to like and subscribe because this took a lot out of me. This took a lot out of me. So please like and subscribe, leave a comment down below, and let's just get started. Obviously, this movie was a lot less well received than the first one. Also, it wasn't on Disney Plus. Disney Plus didn't even claim this movie. They're like, we'll claim the first one, but the second, no, we're not. No, you know that you're not getting that little Disney Plus logo on top of your head. We're not claiming you. It's on Hulu, but you have to have a premium subscription for it. It is, however, on HBO Max. HBO Max, however, didn't want to play the movie for like 30 minutes while I was trying to get it to I was like trying to get it to cast to the TV, and even it was like, are you sure you want to watch this movie? Are you sure you don't want to go do something else with your time? You sure you want to watch this movie? Even HBO Max doesn't want me to watch this fucking movie. Wow. But I eventually, unfortunately, got it working, so I was able to watch the movie. Unfortunately. So we start off the second movie with the major thing that I complained about within the first movie, which is Talia. Now, if you don't know, if you haven't read the books, Talia is a tree. She's a tree. She's the daughter of Zeus that got turned into a tree, and she protects the camp. She is the barrier of protection around the camp. And I complained about this in the last video that for some reason they never even mentioned Talia. In the first movie, the barrier to the camp is the gate. That is the entrance to the camp. Like, Percy's mom couldn't get through, whatever. In this movie, they finally explain Talia because they have to, because it's the entire plot of the movie. However, they have to do this whole rigmarole, like, story at the beginning of the movie, and it's so shoot in, and you'll see a lot of the things that they should have explained in the first movie are so shoot in and just like rapid fire in this movie because they should have explained it in the first movie. Now you have to go through the process of explaining it in this movie, and it doesn't hit as much. So also the fact that they're just like, oh, the barrier is Talia's tree, which is like a couple of feet away from the actual gate, which makes no sense at all because in the first movie, like, the Minotaur, whoever the fuck Percy was fighting when they got to Camp Half-Blood, was already there. Like, it was already past that barrier. They were like right up against the gate. That is one of the many things that don't make fucking sense in this movie. The one thing I will give this movie, though, the production is higher. They hired actual extras to be the actual campers within this movie. The camp looks a lot more fleshed out. There's actual, like, different people. There's a good diverse set of people within this camp, which I really, really like. Their clothing was, you know, early 2013's clothing, so what can you do? But I overall like the fact that, you know, there was other campers and not just stuntmen. Also, Clarice is in this movie, which again is great because she's supposed to be. She's a part of the plot. However, again, why didn't we just bring her into the first movie? I don't know. I really don't know. It's very obvious that like two different groups of people like directed and like wrote this movie. So we get our main crew back, and you see like the first scene, they're on this like little battle thingy, which actually looked pretty cool. Like, it was like a little Wipeout, like type of American Gladiator type beat. I liked that. I did. For some reason, Annabeth was not a part of it, which the one thing I hate from the first movie to the second movie is good old misogyny. Annabeth is not like at all helpful in this movie. She just like complains and tells Percy like what to do, but she herself does not do anything. Like, she does not fight. She doesn't fight. Like, she's like, the one time she fights is like the Minotaur part, and she gets the shit knocked out of her. Like, she's not actually like fighting within this movie, which bothers me a lot. But, you know, it was a flop anyway, so who cares? Annabeth's hair, though, Annabeth's hair is a little better in this movie. They actually gave her blonde streaks. Her eyes are like these bright gray, like contacts, looked so weird. All of their contacts look so weird. I don't know if it was the color grading or just the contacts, because like Peter Johnson, Percy Jackson was also wearing like really blue. His eyes are supposed to be like sea green. So not that blue, not sea blue. I don't like, it's very like bright blue, like brighter than this. Like this is cobalt blue. Like his were like a bright, like neon blue color. And I'm like, okay, let's calm it down, bro. I can see your eyes from a mile away. Goddamn. So part of this movie, obviously, is that Tyson, who is Percy's half brother, he is half god, half nymph, which makes a cyclops. And the whole like part of this movie, or at least in the book, the plot is like he comes and everyone like hates him. For some reason, they hate Tyson because he's a cyclops, and cyclopses are monsters and they kill people, blah blah blah. Everybody's being racist towards him pretty much, and Percy feels ashamed of him because he's different and whatnot. That is explored in this movie like a little bit. The fact that they tried to hit the mark, they tried so hard to hit the mark and failed so spectacularly every single goddamn fucking time. But anyway, Tyson just shows up, which is like, it's a little nitpick in the grand scheme of this movie, but the fact is that I keep saying Percy and Tyson meet at school, and they just are friends at school, and that's how they go start like their journey together. Instead, like, he didn't even know Tyson was his half brother in the beginning, but instead in this movie, Tyson just shows up at the camp and is like, yeah, trident popped over my head one day and then I followed it here. Like, what? Why couldn't I guess they didn't want to spend any money budget on a school, but like, goddamn, it was so fucking stupid. So stupid. So they fight this mechanical bull thing that comes into the camp. And you can tell this is where all the budget went. Because it looked really nice. Like, the bull looked really cool. The CGI is a little weird and it doesn't really hold up today, but like, in theory, it actually looked pretty fucking cool. Like, you can tell some of the actual like SFX in this movie look really cool. However, they're all at the beginning of the movie, and towards the end of the movie, or even the middle of the movie, you know, when they're supposed to be at sea doing all this cool sea stuff, they cut out like 3 big scenes that happen in the actual Sea of Monsters. So we're not actually in the Sea of Monsters for very long, which is like there's one battle in the Sea of Monsters in this movie, and that's it. And then they reach the island. The movie, it's called the Sea of Monsters. Where's the sea? Where are the monsters? I would like to know. So anyway, back to the mechanical bull. They're fighting this mechanical bull. They defeat it, and then fucking Luke comes back. Okay, Luke is there, and he looks like an extra from Teen Beach Movie. Not even Grease. I can't even give you Grease. I'm giving you Teen Beach Movie, because that's what you look like. So following the plot, because apparently there's a plot in this movie, the tree is dying. Luke poisoned the tree that protects them all from this, like, the monsters from outside. It's so hard to care. It is so hard to care. Anyway, they have to go save the tree somehow. So they figure out a way to go save the tree, and they're trying to convince Mr. D, Dionysus, who is there now. He wasn't in the first movie, but he's there now. They try to convince him that they need to go on this quest, and he's just like, no. And they like really try to convince him, and he's like, yeah, sure. And this part was good. Like, in the book, this happens in the book too. They give the quest to Clarice, because she's like the strongest fighter or whatever, and they're like, oh, she should go because you guys are punished for some reason. That's what happens in the book. In the movie, Clarice also gets to go on this quest first. And then Percy obviously is like, but I want to go on this quest. So he takes Annabeth and Grover and then goes on the quest. All of this is how could I forget? This plot moves at a lightning speed, which is why I'm forgetting things, because they have to explain so much that they should have just explained in the first movie. The tree should have just explained it in the first movie. The Oracle, there's this really actually cool scene with the Oracle and explaining Percy's prophecy and like all that stuff. And that's where like Percy is supposed to get his quest. That's where every camper is supposed to get their quest in like the books. That's just where they're supposed to get their quest. And They just now are explaining it, and it's a really cool scene, but like, I can't care. I just cannot care because we should have already explained this. This should have already been a thing that's fucking explained. And so they had to rush through this part to like get to the next part so Percy and Annabeth and Grover can go on their quest. Also, Grover is here. Grover, at the beginning of the book, is kidnapped and he's gone. He's gone away on the like fucking Cyclops Island, and that's part of the plot to get him back along with the fleece that's gonna save the tree. That's the whole plot. That's the whole reason why Percy and Annabeth go on this journey in the fucking first place. And yet Grover, he does get kidnapped. He gets kidnapped about halfway through the movie, but it's like, what? He gets kidnapped by like Luke and his henchmen. What was the point? What was the... I guess they wanted like the actor to be in the movie as much as possible, but it's still just like, why couldn't we just do this properly? What was the reason for being so close to the correct plot that we just, and then just throw it all away? Bro, I'm so heated right now. Oh my god. But yeah, this plot is moving at lightning speed. We're already on to the second part of this movie. One thing that's really an interesting choice in this movie is the camera angles. I feel like they were going for like a Harry Potter theme, which I will talk about at the end when I do my final thoughts. So there was a lot of like a lot of POV shots and shit, which is like interesting choice. Very, very interesting choice. I found it hilarious a lot of the time. It didn't really add anything to the movie for me. It was just really funny. Percy and Annabeth's relationship in this movie, they kind of have one, which is an issue because in the books, like, it's a build-up. It's a thing that's a build-up. Like I said in the first video, like, we're supposed to be building up to their relationship, and now in this relationship, they're like this. They haven't kissed yet, and they're not, like, officially within a relationship, but, like, Percy calls Annabeth Annie. A little cringe. Just a little cringe. Everything is also very out of order in this movie, but Hermes is supposed to come to Percy at camp to give him a bunch of stuff to help him go find Luke and take down Luke and blah 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 blah. And he's a UPS worker. Now this would have been fine. He owns UPS. Like that is what Hermes is in this movie. That would have been fine. I actually found that very cute. I found that whole scene very cute. I think the actors do a phenomenal job in this movie considering literally what they were given. I found that scene very cute. If that was like the only thing they had strayed away from in the book, like if they were like, oh, we want to make it cooler and make him like the owner of UPS and shit like that, it would have been cool. It would have been funny. It would have been cute. And I would have been like, oh, that's a nice little touch. I'm actually glad they add that in the movie. But everything is so out of whack in this movie that I can't even like be happy when something actually genuinely funny and cute happens. I can't. Hermes gives Percy this roll of fucking packing tape that just deletes stuff. Who made that up? Why would packing tape delete things? I tried so hard to enjoy this movie as a regular movie and it just was not working. Like, it was impossible to constantly keep up with this like fucking plot. They get on these fucking... Oh my god. So after they kidnap Grover, they like jump Grover in the middle of Washington DC, which is like, alright. They get onto this... Oh, I skipped a part because of how everything is so out of whack. I'm literally skipping parts in this movie. Before they even get to Washington, they get to Washington, D.C. because they take the taxis with the like three ladies. I forgot their like mythological name, but it's three ladies who are all sharing one eye, and they're the taxi service. They did great. All three of those ladies did phenomenal. It was a really good scene. It's probably like the best scene out of the movie. Like, they're funny, their quips are really good, and like the actual scene itself was like really interesting and funny to watch. Like, it was giving Harry Potter vibes again, but like I think that's what it was trying to do, which is like a good thing. I think we should have done that in the first place, but I'll get into that later. That is the reason why they get to Washington, D.C. from camp. This in the book happens at the beginning of the fucking book, and that's how they get from Tyson and Percy's school to camp in the first place, because they're trying to rush to camp. Also, I forgot to mention, but the Minotaur dude is no longer hot and sexy. He's just this old crusty ass man. No offense to that man, but I want my hot dude back. I just want my hot horseman back. I'm just saying. So, getting back to Washington, D.C., Luke's goons kidnap Grover, and they have to go find him. How the fuck do they even get... I'm trying to remember how they even get to Florida. No, for real, wait. Oh, they catch the ferry, the yacht, or whatever from Washington, D.C. Okay, like they just fucking do that and they just jump on Luke's ship and they're just chilling on Luke's ship and then Luke finds them and throws them in. He explains his grand plan to bring Kronos back, blah blah. Like it's just I can't care. There's nothing to care about in this movie. The movie is going at lightning fucking speed. Oh, that's right. They ride a hippocampus to the fucking ship. Sorry, forgot to fucking mention. Also, there's only one. And the CGI is not great. I can't even comprehend. I wrote notes. I wrote notes about this, but I can't even try and tell you this in chronological order because of how mixed up everything is in relation to the book and in the movie. It just doesn't make fucking sense. But anyway, they get on the boat. Luke captures him, tells him about the grand plan to bring back Kronos, blah, blah, blah. They're in the fucking brig. Percy's fucking doing the wave thing to capsize the boat, or at least try to capsize the boat so they can get free. They get the matter eliminator. They matter eliminate the fucking bars, and that's the one and only time that they use it. And they get out of the fucking ship. And they're like, Luke, you can't be doing this. And he's like, shut the fuck up. So they all fight, and then Percy remembers that he's at sea and then gets on this giant wave. They're on the like lifeboat or whatever, and they get on this giant fucking wave, Percy does, and they try to chase after him, Luke and one of his goons, and the goon like falls into the water because he can't get on the wave, but Luke for some reason gets on the wave. Percy is literally surfing with his feet on this wave, which don't make sense. He can control water and shit. Why can Luke get on the wave? Like, it made no sense. Why can Luke get on the wave? Like, for what reason? What was the reason? Nobody else should be able to get on the wave aside from maybe like Tyson and anybody else who can control water. Last time I checked, Luke is the son of Hermes. He cannot control water. Why was he on the wave? He didn't even fight him. Like, it wasn't even a fight. He just got pushed off. He got pushed off, and then that was the end of that scene. What was the point? What was the actual point? So, they're in the fucking raft thing, doing their little thing with the winds. They got Hades winds or whatever the fuck from Hermes. In the book, this is used very, very differently. Very, very differently. But at this point, like, this is a nitpick among, like, nitpicks at this point. Like, it's like, who cares? All right, they use the winds wrong. Who cares? They get to the, like, mouth monster thing, which is one of the first Sea of Monsters enemies that they come across. It's this giant, like monster thing that has a big gaping mouth that, like, sucks in a bunch of water and, like, spits it back out. Like, that is what this thing is supposed to be, at least in the books. I forgot the name of it, the mythological name, whatever. It's the first like monster that they go up against. I should also mention that in the book at this time they met up with Clarice, and Clarice is on a Confederate ship full of dead Confederate soldiers, and they all fight against this monster and escape this monster. In the movie, however, it's still just Percy, Tyson, and Grover. Actually, sorry, Percy, Tyson, and Annabeth. It's just the three of them, and they're on this raft, and they get sucked into the monster's belly. And now they are in the monster's belly. What was the point? What was the actual point of sucking them into the monster's belly? It does not look any cooler. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. But anyway, they meet Clarice because Clarice is also there with the Confederate soldiers, of course. And they're all like, oh, we need to get out of this monster's stomach before it digests us. And they just shoot the monster's stomach and they get out of the monster. That's literally it. That's it. And that's the only monster, the only sea monster that they fight in the Sea of Monsters.
Like, the fact that there's concept art for this is so frustrating because it means that they were actually trying super hard to make this movie like good and fun and whimsical, and they still fucking dropped the ball. It sucks. All that money for nothing.
That's it. The only monsters, because literally after that they reach the Cyclops Island, which also is in a dead amusement park, by the way. Just thought I'd mention that. Do you see how I can't even try to like explain? I can't even try to be funny. We are literally making shit up. Like at this point, let's rewind a bit though. So they get out of the monster's stomach and they're trying to figure out which way to go. And Clarice is like, we need to go north or something.
I also realize, this is me editing again, the reason why I can find so many like high def pictures and GIFs is because this was a Tumblr movie. Like, every GIF that I found has, like, come from Tumblr. This was a Tumblr girl movie, which makes it even crazier that this movie didn't fucking do well. Like, it's insane. It's really insane. Oh, wow. And not even the Tumblr girls could save you. Like, damn.
And this is when, for some reason, it didn't happen before, but it happened now. Percy is like, he does this little mind palace thing, and like a bunch of lines show up on the sea, and he can read nautical miles and coordinates on the sea. That happens in the book as well, so it wasn't that big of a deal. However, I would like to quote the line, "It's like my dyslexia," because he can read the lines, the nautical lines of longitude and latitude on the ocean. Why, God? Why? So we're on to the last third of this movie. Fucking finally. And they go to Cersei Land. Fucking Cersei Land? What? I was in so much pain. Oh, Cersei Land, which is just an abandoned amusement park that the big Cyclops Polyphemus? The big giant Cyclops enemy dude who's supposed to be the big bad of this movie. Spoiler alert. He's not. He's supposed to be, but he's not. Anyway, so they get there and he has the fleece and Grover is there and he's in the wedding dress. The best part of the like movie really is Grover being in a wedding dress with a big giant googly eye on his head. Where did he get the googly eye from? Who knows? Oh God. I have to mention this dumb-ass part of this movie. They're taking the ride into the Cyclops lair. Like, it was a random fucking ride. And they're riding it, and for some reason, Percy and Annabeth start singing It's a Small World After All. They just start singing that. Like, it's not a full musical number, but they're just like, it's a small world. Like, and like, I really couldn't tell you what the point of that was. Like, I couldn't. Like, I was just staring at the screen at that point, like... But the continuation of just making shit up continues. So they get there. Grover's in this fucking thing. They try to get... I should mention that in the book, at this point, shit is happening with Clarice's ship. Like, at some point when they fight other monsters, Clarice's ship, like, ends up, like, falling apart and explodes. Tyson, the Cyclops, remember him? Yeah, he's in this movie too. Or in the book. In the book, he, like... pretty much sacrifices his life to like save everybody else when the ship blows up. Clarice gets separated from Annabeth and Percy, and Annabeth and Percy make it to the island alone. Clarice shows up eventually, but they make it to the island. So therefore Tyson really shouldn't be there. He shouldn't be there, but he's there, and he ends up wait, we're going too fast. Let's slow down. Let's bring it back. So they end up stealing the fleece. You know, they get knocked around a bit. It's not really a fight. They just get knocked around by the Cyclops. And they get the fleece and they run away and they close him in his cave or whatever. And they're like, yay, we got the fleece. That's the end of the book. Like, when they get the fleece from the Cyclops, like, that is where the book ends pretty much, and they take it back to camp. However, in this movie, it's not the end. Luke shows up with his goons. Why? I don't know. I don't fucking know, but Luke is there, and he tries to shoot Percy, and Tyson jumps in front of him and sacrifices his life and falls into water. Cool. Moving on. We don't have time. We literally don't have time. We have to go as fast as this movie is going with its pacing. So Luke is like, fuck y'all. I'm gonna bring Kronos back, blah, blah, blah. He ties them all up. Percy has this moment of like, am I really a hero? Can I really do... Like, I don't care. I don't know how much you can... I don't care about your little hero's journey, because all of this is going at such lightning speed that is... He has this little speech moment. Everyone's like, we love you, Percy. You can do it. He uses Riptide to cut everyone's ropes, and they go and try and fight fucking Luke. But it's already too late. Luke has brought back Kronos. Remember how I said the book, like, ends after they got back the fleece? Kronos is not brought back in this book. He is not. But for some reason, he is in this movie. Also, Tyson is back. At some point, Tyson gets back. And they're all trying to fight Kronos. But Kronos is obviously this big, giant-ass fucking monster thing. And they're having a hard time fighting him. Fucking Luke dies. Grover dies. Percy's sword turns into his giant sword, and they're insinuating that it used to be his father's, and that's what he used to defeat Kronos back in the day. And he does it again, and he defeats Kronos. Whip-de-fucking-do! Kronos goes back into the fucking box. What was the point of that fight? No point in that fight. Everyone's cheering and gallivanting, and this random ass monster stabs Annabeth in the chest, and she's about to die. In the book, Annabeth gets the shit knocked out of her by the Cyclops, and that's how she almost dies, and they have to put the fleece over her. I guess they still wanted to do that, and she pretty much just fucking dies, and then they put the fleece over her, and she's okay. Great. And then they go back to camp and they put the fleece on the fucking tree, and the tree does wonders and it's back, and oh my god, we are so close to being done with this movie. Bear with me. Making shit up as we go. So at the end, they put the fleece on the tree, like I said. And in the book, this happens in the book too, Thalia, who the person who turned into the tree, comes back. The fleece works too well, as they say in the book and in the movie, and it brings back Thalia from the dead, which raises so many questions. Does that work on just like anybody? I don't know if the book nor the movie, well, the movie's over, but like the book, I don't know if they will ever explain this in the rest of the series of the book, but like, does that fleece just work on any dead person and just bring them back to life, or are we insinuating that Talia wasn't actually dead this time? Interesting plot point. Anyway, the movie's over now. Final thoughts. Oh my fucking god. This movie tried so hard to be better than the first one, and it was so close. How do we get so close to being a good movie and yet so far away? So fucking far away. It's baffling. It really fucking is. You can't even enjoy this movie as a movie. Like I said in the last video, like I tried to think about it objectively as just an enjoyable movie you can watch. You can't even enjoy this movie. The pacing is so fucking off, and everything is going at lightning speed. And like I said, they fight one monster in the sea. This is supposed to be the sea of monsters, and yet you blew all your budget in the first half of the movie. So now when you actually get to the sea, there's only one monster. What was the point of calling this the Sea of Monsters? What was the fucking point? You fight one sea monster and that's the end of the fucking like part with the it's like so frustrating, even from just a regular movie standpoint. Like, not even as a like, oh, I'm a fan of Percy Jackson. Like, no one can enjoy this. Obviously, the book people aren't gonna enjoy this because it's so bad and so poorly adapted to the book that none of the people who like the book are gonna like this movie. And then the people who only watched the first movie and didn't read the books and then go see the second movie aren't gonna like it because the pacing is off. It looks weird. The tonal shift, which I think was needed, was so jarring though and wasn't well put together that people are gonna be put off by this movie. It is not enjoyable for anybody at all. Like, so many things were just missing or out of place in this movie. Like, it just, they were just like, it's okay if you just shuffle this shit around, but it ended up making the plot make no sense. Again, both from a book standpoint and just a regular movie standpoint, a lot of it just didn't make sense. They were really trying hard to be Harry Potter at this point, which I think was a good idea to go for. Like, I think if we're gonna make anything a carbon copy of fucking Harry Potter, it should be Percy Jackson, like in terms of like the effects and in terms of the whimsy and stuff. Because think about it, Harry Potter, they started off as kids and they grew up throughout the movies. We could have done the same shit here. And like the whimsy and like all of the magical elements and stuff, like yes, like that's what we want. Like that's exactly what we want. And you just didn't. You tried so hard to give us nothing. You tried so hard just to give us nothing. Think about that. This movie was so bad. And I usually don't say that about movies. I usually find something enjoyable to say about movies, but it was a train wreck.
Like, bitch, I like Venom 2. 1 and 2. Like, come on now. It's not that hard to please me.
Start to finish, a fucking train wreck. I will say 2 good things about this movie. The actors were great. The actors did a really good job. Logan Lerman still did an amazing job as Percy. Like I said, the 3 taxi ladies, best part of the fucking movie. Tyson, he was adorable. He was so adorable, and they gave this man dreads. But he was so adorable, and I feel like the actor also did a really good job as conveying him as like really innocent. That's it. Like, you really made the production better for this movie. For what? Better production quality and good actors is not gonna save a horrible written plot. It's not, and that's all I have to say. My head is reeling. My head is fucking reeling. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for getting to this point in the video. This video is longer than the first one, and yet the movie seemed so much shorter because it just went at lightning fucking speed. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. If you're looking for something else to watch, again, I have the first video about the first movie that I watched about this. That was a lot more of an endurable time. Also, you can watch my reaction to the first book. I read the first book a while ago, and you can go watch my reaction on that. Let's see what else. I got a vlog out. Vlogs next week. Who knows? I think I'm doing something Genshin Impact related, which should be fun. So stick around, like and subscribe. Follow me on social media for more if you want to come talk to me. And thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.